Hi guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to take a look at how a company went from a startup to being in a position to buy 2 Gulfstream jets, as well as enabling 2 directors of the startup to show $128 million of British taxpayers' money in their accounts, and all thanks to the Conservatives. Now, I want to add here that you will find more about the who, the why, the when, and the how in the links I've left in the description below, and which refers to 3 videos, a trilogy that we did earlier. Now, I apologize in advance for the less than acceptable presentation values, but the story is real, the story is fully backed up, and I really hope you'll get time to watch those videos. So let's go with this one. In the last 12 months, executives at a Pasadena startup began flying from Burbank to destinations around the world in a pair of newly registered Gulfstream jets, one being a G650, which was built in 2015 with a luxury cabin decked out to fit 20 people, and the other just 2 years older. Not bad, you know? And just in case you think it's an investment, one of those Gulfstream's flight records show it has flown to Iceland, to Qatar, to Cyprus, to Israel, to France, and another few. The records for the newer G650, unfortunately, I can't publish them yet, but rest assured I will as soon as I can. Now, the 2 executives associated with the same company also bought multi-million-dollar homes not far from their posh headquarters, and when the realtors asked for proof that they could pay the prices, one of the executives handed over a bank statement showing $120 million deposit into the company's account, and that came from Boris Johnson's government. Now, you would be justified, I understand, in thinking that this could never happen, but you're wrong. That is exactly what happens when realtors are showing a high-value property in the US to somebody they do not know. If they were to allow kind of tourists, if for want of a better word, to view such a property, it would be tantamount to professional suicide, and their company would lose their listing and they would lose their careers. Really, the recipient of that massive windfall of UK taxpayers' money was the Innova Medical Group, a company formed just at the start of the pandemic, that became a very, very unlikely global supplier of coronavirus tests. It was founded by a guy called Charles Huang, whatever way you want to pronounce it, and he was a former Strathclyde University and 57-year-old Chinese auto executive, and their number 1 client, Her Majesty's government. In the other video, when you look at them, you'll see why Boris Johnson was their main client. In September 2020, they secured a vast supply of rapid coronavirus tests from an obscure Chinese manufacturer before other established pharmaceutical companies could do so. Now, again, information in the other videos. And when Prime Minister Bojo the Clown became desperate to do something to show that he was competent, and it would allow the country, perhaps, whether it's right or wrong, to get back to normality and help prolong the subterfuge of his incompetence, he chose Innova, and the game was on. Now, as some of you may be aware, I did cover it earlier, but as I've said, you can see the links. You will see all those reference sites that back up everything that was claimed by Facts Not Fiction. However, we did make a mistake. I have to own up, we made a mistake. You see, at the time, the amount of money involved wasn't crystal clear. Innova were claiming that they had secured a contract for $2 billion, but the UK government website indicated only 800 million. So it was confusing. However, oh my God, we were wrong on both scores. The UK government, under Harding, under Hancock, and under Johnson's watch, spent £3.2 billion, not dollars, pounds with Innova. This was revealed by the government's own figures. Now, these contracts were not even put out to tender. These were awarded against the wishes of almost every health professional within the NHS. So when the clouds of doom descended upon the Innova tests and they were subsequently pulled from the US market by the FDA, who said, and I quote, they had significant concerns that Innova's tests could produce false results leading to serious illness or death. What did the UK eventually decide to do? They decided to buy some more. The warning followed an inspection earlier in the year of Innova offices where the FDA officials found things in complete disarray, with government inspectors finding cartons of tests commingled with boxes of damaged products or said to be destroyed with no markings, indicate which boxes were okay to ship. The whole thing was a mess. According to an FDA letter sent to the company, tests had been shipped with the wrong instructions, along with a number of other infractions. More importantly, however, Innova had not inspected or otherwise verified the tests after receiving them from its manufacturer. You see, Innova don't make them. They don't even have a production facility. You know, Innova had also distributed more than 70,000 of those tests, just 70,000, not millions upon millions, to Americans, and that's according to the FDA, though the agency had not authorized them for domestic sale. Despite an application to do so by the company, that application was refused, but they still did it. However, Innova defended its product, which it continues to sell in the United Kingdom today, and also in some foreign markets, though not in Western countries. A spokesman asserted that the FDA's concern are unrelated to the performance tests, but rather such issues as labeling. Oh yeah? Bullshit. When contacted, Innova claimed it was working with the FDA to rectify any problems. Bullshit. They added that the sales were limited to employees in the US, clinical studies and some customer evaluation purposes. Bullshit. Of course, that's not the case in the UK. It's all true in the UK. We are confident that we are on the pathway to fully comply with the FDA requirements. That's what the spokeswoman said in the email. Bullshit. However, she declined to make Huang, the CEO, available for that interview or answer any other questions in this story, not directly related to the company's testing business. Okay? However, in Britain, the FDA action in June inflamed an already intense debate in the media and scientific publications over the accuracy of the test and the crazy decision by the UK government to mail millions to homes for mass screenings. They were sending them to mass screenings, even though the manufacturer's own instructions say they were intended to be administered to the patient by trained clinical laboratory personnel and not suitable for home use. Joe Maughan, Executive Director of the Good Law Project, you're familiar with them, they're a non-profit that sued the UK government to reveal details of the billions of pounds spent relating to COVID-19, said, and I quote, that the pandemic opened the floodgates for questionable contracts. Governance had fundamentally disappeared. Lots of things are happening for reasons that are very, very difficult to understand. That's according to him. In the pandemic's earliest months, Innova saw the opportunity, illustrating how, in the chaos of a world-changing event, industrious entrepreneurs, for want of a better word, without any track record in the health industry, could profit widely, so long as they could identify a gullible, a greedy numpty, who was more concerned about how they might look to their voters rather than how their performance could affect the health of the nation. Rapid antigen tests are similar to do-it-yourself home pregnancy tests. Only Innova's rely on nasal and throat swabs. They look for proteins tied to the infection, and the method is less sensitive than the PCR tests, though the PCR tests genetic material from the virus. But antigen tests hold an advantage over the PCR analysis in price and speed. PCR tests can cost $100 or more and must be processed in labs, with results often taking days. Antigen tests can provide results within 20 minutes. And Innova jumped on that sales line that its test cost less than a coffee and a donut when purchased in large quantities. That was their sales pitch. Innova claimed their tests' lower sensitivity makes them even better at detecting the contagious people with high viral loads. A point up for scientific debate, by the way. Of course, they would say that. And the decision by the UK government to buy the antigen tests in massive quantities from the Pasadena startup was Johnson's way to just get the economy open faster, and he didn't give a shit about anything else. The Innova test became the focus of the test and trace disaster, with the idea to rapidly catch, rapidly isolate coronavirus patients, including those who are asymptomatic. Now, Johnson's government and Oxford University scientists evaluated 40 tests and selected Innova. They did it from a pilot program. The government said the tests produced fewer than one false positive out of 100 and overall caught about 77 infections out of 100, which is a bit of a weird thing. The test only caught 58% of infections when self-administered. Okay, that was the results of the Liverpool pilot project released in December were even less promising, finding that self-administered Innova tests caught just 40% of infections. The discrepancy forced the government to repackage the Innova test as a National Health Service test, allowing it to be self-administered by people without symptoms, which is just trying to bend the rules. A later study conducted of the University of Birmingham by the University of Birmingham students released in April found the Innova tests were ineffective at detecting people at either the very early stage or the very late stage of infections. Not that it was good or bad, it was completely ineffective. Okay? John Deeks, a biostatistician from the University of Birmingham, stated that this is being promoted as a way of opening up society, that these tests make people safe, when actually the performance is too poor to do that. So basically it does the opposite. Now, you might pick up some cases, he said, and that's a good thing, but if you're using to say people haven't got COVID, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing at all. Now, the original guy from Oxford University, Tim Pito, who led that government study, said Innova was chosen after its test passed the threshold performance. So you ask yourself, threshold performance? Here was the threshold. It became clear that the company could supply the test in large quantities. It wasn't taken forward because it was clearly the best of the bunch. It was the one that was available now. It was the one the politicians could score brownie points from. And that's the only reason it happened. Despite the mounting evidence, Johnson's government has continued to distribute these tests despite the FDA action. A spokesperson for the Department of Health and Social Care noted the government's rigorous assessment process and robust quality assurance process is making that decision. What process? What are they talking about? It's been thrown out and they're still selling it. It's a joke. It's an absolute bloody joke. Guys, to find out more about the who and the why, get onto that description below, and I hope that you'll spread the word. As always, keep the faith and see you on the flip side. Take care.